Okay, we are talking about the southern border, several other things. Jaime Aguilar joining me now. I've had him on the show several times in the last few years. Hello, sir. How are you doing?
Good. How are you, Dave?
I'm
Hope
great.
you're doing well and your audience too.
Yeah, everyone's good. We're in Michigan. You are in Texas. Where exactly are you at down in Texas?
I'm in a little town called Del Rio, Texas. It's about 140, 150 miles directly west of San Antonio, and we border Mexico. The little town across from the border here is called Acuña, Mexico.
How close, like
Steve.
your home actually, like how close are you to the actual border?
Um, I'm actually at my office right now. The From here, it's about maybe about 3, 4 miles down the road.
Oh wow. I heard a lot about Del Rio when the beginning of the border issues and the crisis. A lot of the TV networks were in your community, and I remember talking to you at the time, and it was pretty bad back even a year ago, right?
Yes, it was. Del Rio unfortunately made the news for a lot of the wrong reasons over in the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Initially, we had you remember that Haitian migrant crisis here?
Yes.
At one point we had 16, 17,000 Haitian immigrants underneath our international border.
Yep.
Del Rio, it was one of the major crossing points for a lot of the illegal immigrants. And so it was just utter chaos. There was a lot of frustration here from residents. Del Rio has a very high population of Border Patrol members, and there was a lot of frustration among the Border Patrol members. It was just crazy. For all intents and purposes, our border was at the operational control of drug cartels, and that should tell you something.
Yeah, absolutely. Didn't you tell me that it would be like you would walk around in town and it could be dangerous, or it was an issue that people who actually lived in town went to restaurants and they had to deal with?
Well, you would see a lot of immigrants just walking up and down our streets because the local NGOs and stuff were just filled to over capacity, and so uh, they would the border patrol would just literally drop them off, and then these NGOs would try to do some of the processing. They try to speed it up, and then they would release them into our streets. Just in the school that my son was at, they would be literally just walking right in front of it, and that a lot of them weren't um, violent, or there was, but there was some cases where they think that it was immigrant related crimes, but just the fact that they were walking down the street, it made a lot of people here uneasy. And I know that the members of the Border Patrol were just supremely exhausted and frustrated. If you remember, what the drug cartels used to do is they used to flood an area with illegal immigrants because they knew the tactics that the Border Patrol used, where they'd literally have to pull agents from the field to help with the processing. And while they were helping with the processing, you had a lot of areas of border that were pretty much unprotected. So God knows what crossed or passed, during the last 4 years.
Yeah. So we had an election in November. Donald Trump was elected. January 20th, he's sworn in. Did things change for the better quickly?
Yes, yes, it's a night and day difference. Right now, Dave, between last year and the first few months of the Trump presidency, um, and the effect was almost overnight. And so there's a lot of politics there. A lot of people don't like Trump, but as far as illegal immigration, um, he is very effective in how this thing is getting resolved. What's happening now versus what's happened over the last 4 years.
Do you know? And I know there's a lot of obviously operational security, but what do you see? What is making the difference? Like, literally, are the agents, and you're probably friends with maybe some of them, are they being allowed to do their job? What is actually happening that's helping?
Well, yeah. For one, a lot of the policy of like the remain in Mexico, a lot of
Oh, I think we lost your signal. We lost the signal. Might just be a cell phone issue at the time here. Let's see if we can bring him back. I'm having some cell phone issues lately, especially with my computer. Any of you having cell phone issues either also with your computer? We're going to try to get him back here in just a minute. I don't know what's going on with my service, or is it his service? I'm not sure, but I just had actually the people out to my house to check on my service the other day. Oh, there you are. You're back. Oh, now you're gone. I apologize. There's been some issues.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're back now. I apologize. Either it's me. I've been having internet issues, and it seems like everyone has. Okay, but you were saying about why things are better now. There's a lot of policies that have been put in place.
Well, yeah, a lot of the policies that, a lot of the guiding impetus was where the benefits that the immigrants got. When they got here, they were given a stipend, pretty much a free bus ride to anywhere USA. In those places, especially sanctuary cities, they were given hotels and a lot of free benefits at the taxpayers' expense. So that drove a lot of the immigrants here. Here with as soon as Trump came in, a lot of that was stopped. But also, so there is a questionnaire that they used to use for vetting. My understanding that it's 40 questions, but when we were getting so many illegal immigrants to speed up the process, it was dropped down to 5 questions only. And so, the Biden administration seemed to prioritize efficiency over national security.
Yeah. So is the message also out here now that under President Biden, it was more of a come on over, but now President Trump has said, "Hey, hold on a little bit." So the word is probably getting out amongst the community, especially south of the border, right?
Yes, and especially here, about deportations and so yeah, I think now there is a deterrent. Plus, also, Mexico is helping out. Mexico had sent troops to the northern border, um, and so Mexico too. They being that they come through Mexico, Mexico is also getting flooded, and so they also helped with this. So we've seen a dramatic decrease in numbers, and I know that right now, the body politic is of how um, people getting taken off the streets and deported to Mexico, but they also don't see a lot of uh, immigrants that they do capture that are illegally here, that are in trouble with the law for rape, for stealing, and the media doesn't focus or show too much of that side, and so. But as far as overall how we feel as far as safety here in the border, yeah, I get it's a difference between night and day.
Wow. Okay. Well, and hopefully other administrations, and like you're saying, it shouldn't be political, because there are Democrats down there that probably feel the same way, right? For them, it's not about politics, it's just about security.
Yeah, and there's some counties here that traditionally vote Democrat, but during this last election, they overwhelmingly voted for Trump. And so this case for illegal immigration affects all of us. I have some friends that are Democrats that still espouse the Democratic ideology, but are in favor of having a strong, secure border, because it goes even beyond that. There's a big question about national security. Right now with what's going on in the Middle East, we hear a lot about Iranian sleeper cells, even Chinese that are here. During the Biden administration, I think there were like 44,000 Chinese that are also came in illegally. These are just the ones that got caught, not the gotaways, right? And so we're really quick to judge what president did in over there in Iran, but what got the Chinese sleeper or Iranian sleeper cells here to begin with. It
Yeah.
it seems like the logic is just gone up out the window, and but with regard to your question, yeah, we do feel safer, right? I don't know what future administrations will do, especially a Democratic one. I mean, you just saw what happened in New York. We got a new mayor. Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
it's
hopefully it
we do.
hopefully with the election, at least with the immigration issue, maybe it shows all the parties that this is what America wants, despite what just happened in New York City. But New York City is its own, demographic. But as a country as a whole, I think America voiced their opinion in November.
Do you hear me?
Yep, I lost you for a little bit. I was just saying, if you can still hear me, America voiced their opinion as a whole in November about the immigration issue. It seems like the country came together on how they feel about that one issue, at least.
Well, yeah, I mean, there were kind of core topics, right? And one of them was immigration. And another one of a stop to endless wars. I don't know how that one's going to pan out, but at least with regard to immigration, yeah, I mean, Trump is being effective, right? And so, um, but I know the media is trying to spin a lot of what's happening right now into a negative light to get the populace um, against a lot of these immigration policies. But if you look at almost every poll, universally, people are in favor of deportations, especially when you hear about Tren de Aragua, MS-13. You don't have to be a Republican or a Democrat. You would to no, you don't want those guys in here,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
uh, yeah. So, plus Iranian sleeper cells. I think people on this topic can see above politics and see
Yeah, and
it's not.
the last thing I'll say is that I have not seen a lot of that's why I wanted to ask you. I have not seen a lot on television about the TV networks coming down to the border. I Fox News has done some, but I haven't seen a lot of them talking about what it's like down there now, which is really disappointing because I think America needs to know how it's working.
Yeah. Well, I think because there's also not a lot of um, dramatic effect, right? When you see, for example, the 17 or so thousand Haitian immigrants under the bridge, that's a big dramatic effect. And of the like, right? People walking up and down the street that are here illegally, but you don't see that anymore. So there's not really much to report. But
Yeah.
illegal immigration hasn't gone down to zero. There's still drug trafficking. There's still a lot going on here. But at least now the are the people on the front lines are the brave men and women now are allowed to do their jobs, not get caught up in a political discourse or ideology where they're not, or So we'll see how it
They,
goes.
they just want to keep people safe. They just want to keep people safe.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I'm
And go ahead. Go on. So we're just going to add that. Yeah, a lot of them, they basically just wanted to do their job. A lot of them, during the flood of and these waves, they would come in waves, right? They were literally just babysitting. Um, and so now they're allowed to do their job, which is still a very, very difficult job to do. Being it's a very rough terrain, very, very rough area here to be, but it takes a special mindset and a lot of bravery to be out there, and so our hats off to them for now they're able to do their jobs.
absolutely. I want to thank you for taking the time. And I always say, if I head down there and when I'll meet you in person. But I appreciate everything. I know our cell phone signal was a little weak, or it might be on my end. But thank you for letting people know across the country what's really happening.
Great, thank you for having me.